Hello, everyone, and welcome to Penny for a Tale. This is a wonderful Monday. I think it's one of the first games we are doing this year, and we are super excited for 2020. We got a lot of awesome things coming down the pipe with interviews, with special celebrities, game designers, and etc. But today, we are starting up our campaign of Age Pass right here, done by SMG, who has done other stuff like Robotech, as well as Charms, which just got finished on Kickstarter. I do believe they will have another Kickstarter coming out in the first quarter of 2020. So this is kind of like, if you haven't checked it out yet, watch all the videos and definitely check it out. We actually had the designer come and do a one-shot for us not too long ago. So you can find out that on our YouTube channel. And you can find all of this information on pennyforatale.com. But without further gilding the lily, Jasmine, why don't you introduce yourself, and then we'll go round table.
Hi, I'm Jasmine. I've been on the show a couple times by now. If you don't know already, I run the Geeky Nomad over on my channel, where we learn how to work for conventions as staff members or just, volunteering for like random stuff. We also do a little bit of body painting, some cosplay, little Goompla builds if you're into that sort of thing. Check it out. We're gonna start streaming again next month, maybe. I don't know. We're gonna play it by ear. So follow all social medias. Underscore first the Geeky Nomad, and then you'll find me. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And I don't know if you guys need this tip, but when I was hungry at Gen Con, I gave blood and got a cookie.
Yep.
So
Yep. That's
if
the
you're
way to
hungry at a convention, specifically Gen Con, I know of a truck painted white that stands only a couple blocks away from the main hall where you can give blood and they'll give you a cookie.
Good.
do it. Yep.
Yeah. David,
Same
why don't
thing
you
at
go ahead?
Dragon Con with snack packs and all that.
Oh, yeah. I want to go Dragon Con.
Yay.
David.
So my name's David South. I've been on here a couple times. I ran a game, I think, last Monday.
Yeah,
and
actually,
that was a lot of fun.
yeah.
And I run a blog at somniacdelusions.wordpress.com, and I like to do RPG writing and play a lot of RPGs, so I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah. All right, LeCorey.
Hey, Corey here. I am a member of LARPed.com. I also run the LARPed.com community Facebook group and am all about all things LARPing. So interested in getting into this TTRPG with a LARP feel of role playing more than mechanics, hopefully. But yeah.
We're just going to touch mechanics today.
All mechanics. Just keep rolling. Just roll.
One fight scene.
Just continue rolling.
You know me. I'm gonna RP into that anyways.
You're going to find a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Age Pass is a sandbox sort of game, fantasy game, but you can bring in different elements like psionics and strange magic, as well as steampunk. It's meant to kind of be this modular game where you can have all sorts of things within it. But it's not mechanics heavy like other modular type games. It's really easy to get into, really easy to pick up. Uses the D10, I believe it's called the Elegant 10 system, where you roll a pool of D10s and you take the highest one. So easy peasy, but it lets you create the type of character you want to, which is really cool. But other than that, the Incian sphere, where this game is based on, follows a alternate but similar timeline to our Earth's history. So there's technology, there's magic, there's guilds, and such like that. It's probably kind of in the same semblance of 1813 in terms of Earth. In the Incian sphere, which is where we reside, is about the size of the continent of Asia. So a huge place, and it's inherently dangerous due to harsh weather and strong beasts and all sorts of other things. But not only do you have like these different nations with different political leanings and such like that, but you also have these tribes and people who have yet to be thoroughly explored. So it's kind of like this new age, this new dawn, where who knows what will happen. But what we do know is that the characters we play here today and so on will make history in some way. And now
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse, and it's up to us to figure out what that looks like. Kind of how I think of it is called Age Pass, because you kind of are looking back at the stories during an important time in history where these uncanny heroes do something. Let's just hope it's not explode the planet. So yeah. We are going to hop right into it, and this is going to be jaunting. I promise you this. Are we ready?
Ready.
All right. So, you three are on top of a carriage that is moving about 50 miles an hour, going down a rocky cavern. So the only light that you can see are the little torches in front of the carriage, which shows that there are no horses attached to this, but it's rolling down this very steep hill, going further into the pits of this cave system. You haven't seen the light of day for some time. This has been a particularly interesting exploration expedition into the depths of the sphere. But one thing led to another, as they say, and you guys are barreling towards darkness to who knows what, unable, at least for the time being, to stop. But your lives are in your hands. Sadly, some of the other patrons who were joining your expedition jumped ship earlier on. But you three, desperately wanting to keep the treasure and records that you discovered, which are within the carriage itself in a nice little chest. Most of them papers and books and such like that. And while others might pass it by for wealth and gold and stuff like that, you three are the types of people who say, knowledge, this right here could be something really cool. So we are going to zoom in on each character as you guys describe what you look like, kind of what your thoughts are as this carriage goes barreling down to the precipice. Who wants to go first?
Oh, you said the dreaded word of going first. I guess I'll go since I spoke.
Yep.
So Belvedere is... Well, I guess I'll just describe her appearance first. Though.
Yeah.
She's very much a makeshift hodgepodge of just fabrics and textures that have been loosely sewn together or strapped together at some point. So she's wearing like a really janky looking tunic that's tied together with like 3 different belts. She's got a ton of bottles that are hanging across her from shoulder to waist, and they each contain like either some kind of live specimen or like a dead skeleton of something that probably shouldn't be in a bottle, but it is.
So every time we hit a bump, I'm gonna like just hoping the bottles don't hit together and smash. And, like, really
Yeah.
something
Well,
terrible.
they're making like little jingly noises as she's just moving around trying to assess.
She's got like a bottle of lightning that's just like...
Like lightning in a that's not normal at all.
Is that gunpowder right next to it?
Yeah. But her name's Belvedere, and she's a relic hunter, and she's very keen on things that are just either shiny objects or things that look like they should not belong to whoever they have. So she's very a tactile kind of person. She also has a tail that she tends to use as a distraction sometimes, but for the most part, it stays wrapped around her waist with her belts and everything. She's what I guess the continent of spheres would call a Therios. I don't know if I said that right. Theros. So she's like human, but with cat tendencies. And I think her thoughts so far are just like, I hope I survive this. Otherwise, I'm killing everybody.
Are you the type of person who you'll be inside the carriage kind of with your head poked out, or are you on top trying to figure out how to stop it?
I'm on top and probably dangerously close to the driver, just breathing on the back of their neck and just like, you sure you're going the right way? Because this looks like the wrong way.
You got this, buddy, but please give me something here.
All right, who wants to go next?
So I'm Lana, and I'd like to point out that I am this, I like a troll, but not in like the classic fantasy troll sense. I'm a dancer, an Aluran dance trooper, a bit of an acrobat, and I'm wearing this like sort of sequined belly dancer outfit. But I'm going to use different pronouns for her because she's got a very androgynous look, and nobody really knows exactly what. So you can use whatever pronouns you wish to describe her. And she is currently holding on and trying to get over a large hangover. So she just woke up and suddenly it was barreling down to the bottom. And so she's sort of looking around and just yells out, "What the hell is going on here?"
All right, so we'll go over to Corey's character.
Okay, so to describe Walter, so he is a Makari race, which is basically like mechanical creation. So like humanoid-esque, but like think like steampunky. So has some humanoid features and body parts, but a lot of him is mechanical. But you can't really tell. Except for his face, because he wears a very large like overcoat, kind of like think like detective style coat and hat, because he likes to keep himself under wraps. And I would say he's probably like sitting in the inside of the cart, almost nonchalantly kind of posted up to where even though the cart might be jiggling around, he's not really moving much because he's very much focused on like a doodad little gizmo that he's tinkering with.
All right. So the driver, as the bombardier is breathing down his neck, is this very old, like 70-year-old human with long, shaggy gray hair, in glasses, the thickest glasses you have ever seen. You're pretty sure you saw him burn an ant the other day with it, and accidentally too. And right now he's just kind of scrunched up like this, shaking with the reins in his hands, as he kind of turns to you and motions with his hands like this to the reins that are attached to no horses, as he looks at you. "Madame, what are we going to do?"
I don't drive. It's all your fault anyway.
Can anyone do something? We can't. And he just like throws the reins off to the side.
I'm like, "You, sir, what is your name and where are we?"
"Chaucer."
"Chaucer? Well, nice to meet you, but that didn't answer my second question."
Well, dear boy, we are about 30 miles under the ground, the grass, in the deep caverns. How'd you not know this? Did you?
Hey, there's a lot going on right now. Now's not really the time to go into that. All right, but I just woke up, so act as though I'm 5 and just explain it to me.
Oh man, I always tell people there's rations for the dwarven ale for a reason.
I briefly consider going back to sleep as he begins to lecture me.
Yeah, you're like, there's a soft pillow there.
So I have, um, where's it at? I have rope, and so I have 20 foot of rope and a grappling hook. Um, Even though I'm not really like paying full-hearted attention to what's going on, I want to like sit my little doodad down, kind of fashion the rope on the
Mhm.
grappling hook, and just kind of toss it out the side and hold on tight.
All right, are you is your like hope to stop the whole carriage itself or just kind of swing out with the grappling hook?
So the goal would be to impede the speeding um, carriage.
All right. So why don't you give us our first roll? And for this, I'm going to say it is a brawn strength test.
Okay.
The hard part is not getting it to hang on something, but kind of start to slow the scent of this fast moving carriage.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I have 1 brawn, 2 strength.
Hmm.
So that means I roll 3d10s, correct?
Correct.
But I can hold back some,
Yep, you can
right?
always hold back one to give yourself a +1.
I don't think that's really worth it because either way, I'm gonna get a 1 off of that, right? So, oh no, wait, never mind because
It's the highest, so you
it's the
could increase what
highest.
you get.
Yeah, so let's do that. Let's take the chance and add at least a 1 and rolling 2. And I rolled a 2 and I rolled a 9.
All right, so a total of 10 because you held one of your dice. So that is a difficulty of hard, and I definitely would say this is very difficult. You kind of nonchalantly, like with your little fedora and everything, like throw the grappling hook out. It catches upon a rock. And then the people the bombardier, as you're looking out, you notice the torches are illuminating only darkness. Just ahead of you, the rocky terrain abruptly ends and just pitches into complete midnight black.
How far do we have until we hit that?
You think probably about 10 seconds as it rolls down.
Is there a long pole or something I could use to shove into one of the wheels to stop it?
Yeah, in the back there are 2 long poles, which you guys generally kind of hook up different backpacks and other equipment to, as well as pull stuff with. So yeah, you can snap one of those off and try to stick it into the wheel.
Yeah.
That's what
So
you
I'm
want.
gonna do that and sort of hoist myself off the side, holding off by one hand, and just like jam it in there while cursing loudly.
All right. So back to Corey's character. How are you kind of are you just grabbing onto it, or is it attached to you in some way?
So once I throw it out, the goal would be to tie it around the cart itself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure there'd be some sort of mechanism to stop the cart from, like if horses were attached to it, if they ran off, but we were parked to stop it from continuing to run off. So I'm looking for that, like that hook.
All right, cool. So your rope is long, so it's kind of like pulled off on the center, so you just can't see it spinning around in that whip-like fashion as it's attached to the rocket, but you guys are still going forward. Tying the other end to a lever, this little iron lever that's looked like it's been chewed on, within the carriage. This little small thing, you kind of tie it to it, pull it down, and there's a slight jolt. And then the bombardier, as you kind of look behind you, notice a splash of sparks as you were pretty sure the brakes just ripped off of the wheels and are now flying back behind you. Um, So, Lana, right?
Yes.
Lana, you have this stick. It's about yay thick, and you're just gonna jam it into the back wheel.
Yeah, you're hanging off the side, trying to just shove it in as far as it can go.
All right, cool. So why don't you give me a I think the most important thing for this is agility. So reaction agility, as you try to like stick it into one of the spaces in between the wooden spools,
Okay.
instead of the just kind of bouncing off the wood.
And so 10s are good, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah. It
extra
will.
10s add +2.
Correct. Yeah.
So 12.
Nice. All right. You slam it down inside. So, when a object stops, all of a sudden, um, and there are people on it.
Does the entire thing turn because one wheel stopped, or are like both wheels locked together?
So, as you shove it in there, it kind of buckles, kind of tilting to the right and flipping up, throwing Lana and the Bombardier, as well as the old man, kind of forward a little bit as this thing kind of flips up in the air.
Sorry, everybody.
So Bombardier and Lana, if you guys can give me, I think agility reaction for this one as well, as the thing is like spiraling. So those like epic scenes where the vehicle's spinning around down the rocks, and you guys are like spinning along with it, and you gotta move to get out of the way when it crashes into the rocks. That is what you guys are doing right now.
I got an 8.
All right.
I got an 8 too.
All right. Cool. So it smashes down onto your compatriot's leg, and he screams. And you just hear him start crying. But you two were able to just kind of roll in like fetal position out of the way as it comes crashing down. Slowly rolling, not slowly, quickly flipping and rolling towards that precipice, which, Corey, your character is still within. You are going to take 1 wound from just the constant smacking around within the carriage. What are you doing?
I'm grabbing the box and grabbing the rope.
All right.
I'm gonna look over to Belvedere and say, "Wait, was the robot person still in there?"
Robot.
He had gears in places. I don't know.
Oh, the shiny guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Well, I began to like hum taps in my head as we just like watch it careen.
You're like,
he's probably dead.
Lana and Bombardier, as you're kind of like watching this carriage flip over the precipice and going into the blackness, you notice this like rope kind of like shaking as it's being pulled from a direction behind you. Turning around, you notice the end of the grappling hook with a piece of rock in it as it's shooting towards you and to the carriage itself. What are you gonna do?
So I'm not real bright, guys.
So there's a rock shooting towards us?
It's the other end of the grappling hook. So you see the rope kind of going past you.
Oh, the momentum is pulling
Yeah.
it towards. Okay, I'm gonna just try to nimbly duck out of the way using my dancing techniques.
All right, go
It's
ahead.
very elegant, even though it might not be.
All right. Yeah, that sounds like a agility reaction.
8.
All right. So you duck down, and it's actually pretty good. It's almost like a swan dive, very beautiful as this grappling hook smashes and tears through another rock, leaving huge gashes in it. How about you, Bombardier?
So I'm just gonna watch her do that and just be amazed and want to clap and then realize it's still coming. Uh, and I'm gonna grab one of my weird jar things
Mhm.
and try to throw it at it, and maybe it'll slow it down.
All
Looking at you
right.
very skeptically.
Let's roll a dice to
What-
see how this works. All right, so because you're kind of like you're like freaking out. This thing's shooting towards you. You pull out one of your bottles and throw it at it, hoping to God that this thing, whatever it is you threw, will be helpful.
So I'm gonna throw the jar full of sticky substance.
Nice.
And I don't know what other mysteries are in that bottle, but it's full of sticky stuff. So
Yeah, so if you ever saw like the Venom movie or just familiar with Venom, when it smashes upon the grappling hook, it just shoots off this sludge of black goo that kind of spreads out like a web and attaches to several of the rocks. And the grappling hook suddenly stops.
cool.
Going back to Corey's character, you grab onto the rope and it pulls you right through the window with that box in your hand, and you were able to kind of secure yourself or brace yourself against the cliffside, but you are still over the peak as you see the carriage go careening down into the blackness.
Hmm. So, so I'm like hanging there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what do I roll to climb?
Right, so you can give me athletics. It's a little bit more difficult because with the box in your right hand, you can only really do it with one. So you're pretty much gonna have to be Swolberham.
You can just hear us talking about how we're
Yeah.
missing you and how your epitaph will be. We have no idea that you survived.
Right.
You're probably like, God darn it.
So how about this? What's the roll to sling the box over first?
Ooh, that will be a very hard roll, because you're still like several meters down over the edge,
Mhm.
and trying to one hand throw it will require a lot of strength. But that would be a brawn strength test.
So the difference is brawn strength or brawn athletic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's the same. It's the same dice pool. I would rather. Let me think. So he would meticulously evaluate the percentage.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna roll a random thing here and then decide. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So he's going to try to toss the box. I'm gonna hold one back.
All right. Do realize if you fail this, that box is gone.
Yeah. So I held one back. I rolled 2.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 9. So that makes it a 10.
All right. Unfortunately, that is not enough. So you guys up on the cliff see the box kind of smack against the edge,
No.
and then roll back over the cliff.
I'm like, what was that?
Was that the thing we were supposed to keep? I think that was the thing we were supposed to keep. Sorry.
Hey, Jouser, how you doing, buddy? Who's the guy that we were with?
Oh,
Chaucer.
Chaucer, yeah, he's
Yeah.
so his head kind of pops up from some rubble as he's grabbing his foot, and he's like,
We'll get to you in a second, bud. Just
What?
stay there.
Okay.
And I run over to the cliff face.
All right. Over the edge, you see.
No, not over the edge.
Yeah, I mean, like
Okay.
looking over. You're just like.
So and just to clarify, so at this point with both hands, it's it's not a big deal to climb up,
Mhm.
right? Like
Yeah,
it's on
you
a roll.
can just go.
So I would toss that, and then I'd assume by the time they run over to look over, I'm hitting the top,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kind of look up and go, I should have just tied the box to the rope.
I'm like, wait, so you were down there the whole time?
Shiny guy's alive! Yeah!
Why did we could have helped you pull it up? Why didn't you call to us?
Yeah, I miscalculated an integral piece of information, like just tying the box and climbing.
Sure. Yeah. And also, who are you?
So, I, I'm my name's Walter Steele. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not really that great with people, but we've kind of known each other a little while, and kind of hurts my feelings if I were to have any that you don't remember my name. But that's okay.
Wow, they make these things real smart these days, huh?
Yeah, and sassy.
So impressed.
Yeah, you hear like from Chaucer, I think she drank dwarven ale.
I mean, your face seems like vaguely familiar, but I'm still coming out a lot of haze, so.
I'd like
Ooh.
help, please.
Oh, you're still alive? Oh, good, bud.
Yes.
Don't worry. Hold on, we're talking.
Oh, okay.
So looking over the ravine, like what's the distance down? Is it like
So looking over, you can see two little specks of the torches that were at the front of the carriage. It looks like about 5 stories.
okay?
Is there a smashed box at the bottom?
Hard to say. It's a little bit too far to
Oh,
see
yeah, it's
kind
super
of
dark in here.
Yeah. So all you see are kind of like those 2 little pinpricks of the torch
Wait,
light.
I have night vision.
Ooh. All
What does
right.
Because
that
I'm
mean?
part cat person, so I can kind of see. I don't know
Yeah.
how far it goes though, but
So you can see a little bit better than everyone else. While everyone kind of takes in the light just around the torches, you can see a little bit further around the light itself. And you do see several books and pamphlets and like papers kind of like floating down, as well as a kind of smash box nearby.
I'm just gonna look at it and then just turn back to him like, so how's your day?
My head hurts, and this guy's got gears in places, so that's new.
Cool.
You're like Bombardier, Belvedere. Something's coming back to me, right? What was it?
Either one, it works.
All right,
Uh,
all right. I
yeah, we're
love
supposed to.
the way your eyes sparkle, by the way. They just look so pretty with the torchlight.
Oh, thank you. It's really giving me a headache, but we're supposed to keep that box thing because that one guy said he'd pay us later.
Well,
And,
it's only approximately 5 stories down.
I mean, it's no problem for me. I've got a whole kit and everything. I can only probably carry one other person down with me.
I'm probably the lightest.
I'm
Saying.
probably lighter, Chaucer says.
Yeah, it's because of the blood loss, but don't worry.
Speaking
Oh,
of
yeah.
which,
Hey, Chaucer, you still got snacks, right? I mean,
my leg is broken. Can help?
that is important, but snacks, though.
The
Do
granola
any of
bars
us know first aid?
in my pocket.
Oh, that's essential too. No.
I'll walk over to him and I'll take off one of like my jangly necklaces
Mhm.
and I'll be like, so where do you want me to apply the tourniquet, bud? Like here, and I poke it.
Oh God, yes, I guess it hurts.
And I'm just gonna like start tying a very, very tight tourniquet around his leg.
Yeah, he's like crying. Fetal position on the ground.
What race is he?
He's human.
Okay.
We just broke an old man. That's right.
You only get one.
We only get one old man.
So I'm gonna look around if there's any like bits of debris or board that were broken off from the thing as it was rolling to see if we can make a like some sort of splint or like a walker for him to use.
Yeah, there is the wheel
Crutch.
that you had initially shoved the pole into is splintered and broken nearby a rock, with several kind of like the pieces of wood that form its inner wheel smashed and nearby.
Does either of you have rope? Bombardier or Walt?
I'm like wrapping my rope up.
Get your own rope.
So I could probably relinquish some, but so while they're all doing that, I would have liked to have like kind of inspected the lay of the land. Like I have Pathfinder profession, and really the goal is to try and see the most effective way to get down to that piece. Would it be to climb down? Does it look like the trail kind of leads off down that way?
All right, go ahead and make a roll.
Okay, so what would that be?
So that would be that skill and intellect.
So that's a profession. So what is like? So for example, I have one intellect.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume awareness would come into play with that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like looking around.
Yeah.
But what does having the profession do for me?
It's kind of specialize it for you. So in this case, we'll give you a +2 on your roll.
Okay. All right. So I have a 4. I'll hold back 1, which will give me a +3 by default. And oh, that was terrible. So that would be, what did I say? We had a +3.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a 9.
Okay, that's good. So looking down, your eyes taking careful surveying of this little cliff face here, you notice that there are several holes inside the cliff, facing out into the darkness. It doesn't look natural, so it's not the weathering away from the wind or any sort of moisture. It definitely looks intentional, but just in front of them, there's usually a ledge that's about half of a foot out. So probably the best way down would be to kind of just go from ledge to ledge very carefully, taking a break at every couple of ledges, or there might even be a way to get to the bottom tunnels or the bottom holes via one of the upper ones.
Okay. So all that said, I would regurgitate that as I'm like rolling the rope up, and I'm like, so I could cut a piece off. You can.
Wait, hold on, bud. I'm hungover. You gotta go a little bit slower. You're going a mile a minute here.
Dumb it down.
Yeah, please.
It's dumb. Make
So
it
we can either walk really far,
Hmm.
or we can climb less far with this rope.
I'd be okay with that. As long as we got some rope for Chaucer over here to get his leg all not messed up.
I would like that very much.
Why don't we just, and I'll rip off a shred of the bottom of my coat. Here, just use this.
Good
for
idea.
Now.
This is nice fabric, by the way. Where'd you get this?
It's really not that nice.
Well, I like it. I think I might have to go get some more, and I'm gonna go tie up his leg and try to get him at least so that he can walk and maybe get him something to lean on.
Yeah. So you can bring like one of the little wooden pieces from the wheel. And so when you come up, starting to move over to the cliff, Chaucer kind of limps over to you guys, and he picks up some dirt and kind of rubs it around his face, and just like rubbing at the tears that he has, and he's like, "There's something in my eye."
Yeah, it's dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got a lot of dirt on your face.
Yeah.
This is my last job. I should have known.
So he's kind of like hobbling.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm-
You ready for some climbing, bud?
I'm just a driver.
So it might be beneficial for the most agile of us, and I'm like looking directly at Alora, to climb down first. Then we can tie him and lower him down, and then we can try to catch me as I come down, because I'm not going to come down very nicely.
How are we gonna catch you?
I mean, I'm going to be on the rope, but I'm just saying,
Okay, that's fair.
just
I
in
can-
case.
I can definitely counterbalance and help, like, lower him down since I'm pretty
All right,
freaking strong.
I'll go
So-
first.
All
I'm
right.
pretty nimble.
You're starting to scale down.
Yeah, I'm gonna sort of lead the way, trying to point out where all the sharp rocks are and stuff like that.
Cool. Do you have it tied off, or is someone holding the other side?
So the grappling hook is still on, so I would jam it into the side
Okay.
and still hold on.
All right. Perfect. So Lana starts slowly jumping down further into this darkness. When you come upon the first hole, it's about 5 foot radius all the way around. Looking inside, there are almost like a pattern inside the wall that feels scaly.
So, do we have torches? Are we carrying torches right now?
It's a good question. You guys
I-
could.
I have torches.
And there were some that were on the
The
cart, but we probably don't have that
Yeah.
anymore. All right, then can we say that I either asked for a torch or had one?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna sort of like poke a torch into the hole to see if I can see how far it goes.
You poke a little torch in the side, and it goes pretty far. You don't see the end of the tunnel when you poke your light in.
And it seems like organically carved, not like a perfect hole, perfect circle.
Yeah, organically, definitely.
Hey, there's something weird over here, y'all. There's like stuff carved in the walls of these little things.
Are they? Is it a language?
I don't know how to read.
That there's for them learned people.
So, is there anything moving? I think that would be the first.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so let's continue with the game plan. And when I come down, I don't know, Bombardier, do you speak any other languages? Are you good with spellcrafting?
So Bombardier's just looking at him and like, oh, languages. What can you tell me what language you see down there?
So there's one, it's kind of like a squiggly thing with like a dot.
Oddly specific, yes.
Do I recognize the language?
You'd have to come into the ledge itself, and because
Okay,
kind of like
I'm gonna
the
wait till
weird
everybody's down
stones.
then.
Yeah. All right. So you guys each come down one by one to that ledge with the hole in it.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. Chaucer is a little bit more difficult. You kind of have to help him along as he does, and he really just like slaps around the cliff a lot before finally resting upon the ledge and curling up in a ball.
I'm gonna walk up to the language on the wall and just kind of press my face against it because I can't really see with all this torchlight.
You're like, God damn it, these people.
Like I
They're
said,
light.
I can't. Do I recognize any of the languages?
So you you press your face against it, and as you touch your nose against the wall, the letters light up with a strange luminescent. It's as they light up, it looks like moss that's been grown all inside this tunnel. And it starts branching out, everything starting to light up to this hole almost sparkles like stars with this weird green luminescence from this moss-like language thing.
I look over to Walter and I'm like, damn, she's powerful.
Is
Yeah.
that cavern speak? Because I can do that.
What languages do you have?
I've got Western, cavern speak, and what was the other one? The other one was
Did you
That's
choose?
it.
You didn't choose relic word.
Oh yeah, I did.
That would make sense.
I don't know if that matters, but as a
Yes.
relic hunter,
That's the one we're
Yep.
looking for.
I mean, I had relic something. I was like, oh
yeah.
yeah. So relic cavern and western is what I know.
Excellent. So you definitely recognize this as relic word, as it kind of spirals around. It's very difficult to understand what it means exactly. They seem to be almost old fables, but written in a way with no context whatsoever as to what the characters are or what the creatures are. Um, it's very strange.
Okay, so I'm gonna just continue to like hover eye the entire wall and just shout behind me. It looked like someone's storybook is on this wall. I don't think we need it.
It's beautiful, whatever it is.
Yeah, and to read it, you kind of have to, because it goes reads like this
Oh my
around the
gosh.
cavern, so you have to look there. Then you're like, okay. And...
So
Too much.
sometimes the stories of someone's past are a good way of not reliving the bad that may have happened. So it might be beneficial to just do a more thorough investigation of the story and maybe tell us stuff of it to see if there's anything we need to care about before we continue.
And also, it's a light source, worst case scenario.
But it looks like she can't see it.
I think it's because of
Anyway.
our torches. Should we extinguish our torches?
Well,
Would that be helpful?
then you
Could
can't.
we at least one? Just one.
All right, I'm gonna put mine out.
So I'm gonna pick a random
Put it out
spot.
on Chaucer.
Like, oh, sorry, I didn't see you there.
Yeah, whoa.
So I'm just gonna pick a random spot, and maybe it's the beginning of the story. And what can I decipher from that mold section?
All right, excellent. So why don't you give me a charisma and entertain check, actually.
Okay, I gotta hold on.
I got a nothing in that one.
So I got 0 charisma and 0 entertain. So what is that? Just one?
Yeah, I think it is just one. You need a 10 to be successful.
Cool. Totally not worried about that at all. So it's a 7.
All right. So looking out, your head starts circling around as you start to read it, and you take 1 wound as you can't understand it, and it's frustrating. As you turn around, everyone else notices that there's a single blood drop coming from your left nostril.
I'm just gonna smear the blood across my face,
You got something in your whiskers.
I'm gonna keep trying though.
Are you okay there?
You're gonna go
Are
back
you allergic to
it?
the moss?
It's just nope. Just give me a minute.
I mean,
Alright.
she did put her nose up to it earlier.
Yeah, I don't think that's healthy. I think that this moss is probably bad for you.
I don't think so. I've come across it all the time. So just gonna continue trying to read the next section.
All right. Give me another test.
All right.
Is there any assistance type of things in this game?
There is, but you can't really assist her for this. Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of lore and legends and stuff. Maybe she's telling me I could help.
Yeah, if you if she reads it out loud, you can try to figure out what it all means.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
I'm gonna say, yeah, tell me about this.
So I rolled a 9.
Mhm.
Uh,
Unfortunately,
and
is not enough. But David, Lana can roll to see if she can part the fables.
So I have obscure knowledge 1, social rumors and histories. How would that help me?
Ooh, we'll give you a +2 for that.
Okay. And what kind of roll is it?
Is charisma entertain?
Okay. I'm a pretty entertaining person.
mhm,
And
mhm.
is that +2 to the number of dice that I roll or to the result?
Correct. To the number of dice you roll.
Okay. 10.
All right, excellent. Let's see here. So as you're looking at this is kind of what the bombardier reads out loud. An ass once found a lion's skin which the hunters had left out in the sun to dry. He put it on and went towards his native village. All fled at his approach, both men and animals, and he was proud ass that day. In his delight he lifted up his voice and brayed, but then everyone knew him, and his owner came up and gave him a sound, cudgeling for the fright he had caused. And shortly afterwards a fox came up to him and said, "Ah, I knew you by your voice."
So that's creepy, y'all. So I'm gonna relay that to everybody. Do our voices echo in this chamber?
They do.
Well, somebody was a big fan of, well, I guess hearing people talk oratory. Maybe this is a good place for people to do it. Whoever put this moss here.
Is the moss is it living like, or is it like spell, like is it crafted like a spellcraft kind of thing?
Um, Looking at it, there doesn't seem to be any magic. It definitely just looks like an organic native thing to this.
Okay, I'm gonna collect samples of it.
All right. So you chip away at the moss, and as it comes off from the wall, it turns to ash, and kind of falls into whatever vial you put it in.
Interesting. Looking back over the ravine, how far down does the next?
Only a couple meters.
Should we
Okay.
keep going?
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to go down a dark tunnel that reads about an ass putting on a suit and scaring people.
Well, I mean, then when you put it that way, you make it sound bad.
Yeah, it seems like some bias. This and that.
I mean, if you want to go first.
Let's at least remember our way back, because this could be a way out if we can't get out where we came from.
So the way back would be straight up.
Yeah, but I'm saying that there could be other ways out where we're going, and it's always good to have an exit.
Mm-hmm.
So let's continue. I agree, but the temptation is there.
All right, you guys make it to the next ledge, and much like before, it is this pitch black hole. Are you doing anything else, or are you just going to continue on from ledge to ledge until you get down?
I want to ask Chaucer what he thinks of the creepy story.
He sighs.
You ever tell this to your kids, your great grandkids, your great great grandkids? How old are you?
It's kind of geez. I'm just approaching 70.
Wow, death's door.
No, what? I'm gonna live.
I was talking about your leg specifically.
Oh, I'll
Yeah.
dance again.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll dance with you when you're healed, man. But we got this. Don't worry.
Yeah, once we're back in the city, taking in this good money. Look.
And I looked to everyone else and I'm like, he gonna die.
You're like,
still sniffing around Chaucer for snacks and dug in one of his pockets. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if
mean, you do smell a hint of cinnamon in his back pocket.
I'm gonna. Can I stealthily dig in his pocket?
Yeah,
Cool.
go ahead and roll stealth.
Yeah, I'll be like still talking to him while this happens.
Got 2 for stealth. I'm just like, cute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, I just came on this trip. I was the driver. That
There
That
was
we
was
it.
go.
probably a
10.
mistake.
What'd you get, Jasmine?
Got 10.
Nice. So you pull out these long cinnamon sticks that are coated in cocoa powder.
Just
How
like,
it did not break in his butt pocket,
Mhm.
we may never know.
I don't need to know. I got snacks now.
What do you mean how it didn't break? You mean how much broke off inside of him?
They were much bigger.
So just to clarify, is because we obviously are more than just on the ledge because there's 4 of us, so we have to kind of go inside.
Mhm.
So we're gonna have to have a torch. Is there a similar feel in this cavern?
Well, so you notice the moss via the torchlight, but they are not lit up.
Okay. All right. So it's pretty obvious that touching the moss makes it illuminate, whether it be through some sort of heat or sweat signature that's causing that. But I don't think, unless you want to read another story, I don't think it matters. So we should just continue. Unless the story entices your entertainers.
I have 0 entertainment, but
Yeah, so you were maybe like stuttering out the story, and then I would retell it in like a beautiful voice.
well, that's all up to you.
I say we keep going down. We need to get these papers, right? What exactly are in these papers? What's so important about them?
Papers.
That we're trying to get at the bottom of this cavern. I mean,
Did we
something.
read any of these things, or did with the box
So they
closed?
needed translating. They're all in relic word, but in kind of an old dialect that you could kind of skim through it and get a gist of it. But the plan was to bring all these documents back up to the surface to get it thoroughly translated and sold to museum. So they're just kind of old books and papers from maybe an ancient civilization or from maybe some sort of deity.
So how long have we had the box?
For about a day.
Okay. How curious would Bombardier be? Well, actually, how curious would you both be? Because it would probably take you both to kind of put any sense to any of those. Would you guys have been interested enough to dig into it? And if so, should we roll for it? Or would you guys have been like, no, let's just get it to where it's got to go and make money?
I care a lot
like-
less about stuff like that.
I feel like Bombardier would be very nosy and would have poked through it a couple of times.
Cats do get into everything.
Yeah, like
Like, well, it's here. I'm just gonna, take a peek and then like keep peeking at it until someone tells me stop, and then I'll come back later and look at it again.
And also, you probably wanted all the stuff out of the box so you could sit in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah. That's why you're going down from the ledge.
I just wanted the box back.
I sit. You're like, oh yeah, the papers too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to throw that out there because Walter would have been curious to dig into it, but he would have immediately realized he cannot read the text.
All
would have been like-
Bombardier, you can make an intellect mind test if you would like.
Dang it! Why you always gotta go for the stuff that's low?
Or if you have another skill that you feel would apply to this.
Okay, let me look at my thing again, because I know once again I tried to make Bombardier very like baseline smart, but let's see, we got 1 intelligence, and I would probably use, oh boy, As a delver, does that give me any kind of addition
I'll give you a
to
+2.
for insight?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you use insight for languages? Or is that more of a
I'll say for this one definitely, as you're trying to kind of like skim and extrapolate words from or sentences in pages, um, through this old ancient relic.
okay? Because intelligence is 0, but insight is 2. So I don't know where I went wrong with that, but let's go. I'm gonna try and recall some stuff I read on the sheet at one time before our careening to death situation.
All right.
Cool. Got a 10.
Nice. All right.
Well,
So the first pass that you did through the papers in the book seems to be a collection from one individual. His name was Muchalan. And this Muchalan was a traveler a very long time ago who kept very strict and dutiful notes concerning his journeys. And what is so interesting about this is he talked about a pass that would lead you underneath the waters, just south of the sphere that you guys reside on, out to the desert, the places that he describes with reverence and much captivation, but doesn't go into specific details. You feel like maybe some of the later works would probably include that stuff, but you don't have them. You just have kind of his earlier stuff.
are we nearby enough to pick up at least 1 or 2 of the pages that fell out?
Yeah. So you guys make it all the way down, I assume?
Yeah.
All
Yep.
right.
Yeah, I'd like
and-
to.
Yeah. So you do so and look around, and like some of the papers are definitely lost. But nonetheless, oh, hold on, we have a visitor. There you go. But nonetheless, most of the papers are still here intact and ready to be used and looked through.
Well, are we gonna look through it, or are we just compiling and collecting and moving?
Yeah, I feel like
moving
this
on?
isn't the place to look through all the papers.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna shove a part of the cinnamon chocolate into my face and just grab some of the papers and shove it in a pocket somewhere
Is
underneath.
the box salvageable? I'm assuming it's not.
Not really, no. It's splintered and broken.
Okay. I don't have like I have pretty tight clothing for dancing, and so I can't really store that much of it. But I'll take a couple of crumpled papers.
So can I, as a high-end crafter, try to fashion like think of like a crate-esque
Mm-hmm.
from the splintered pieces?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right.
Just kind of like you don't have to roll. You just kind of put together a slight carrying mechanism that can go on your back to hold all the papers, almost like a larger hidden book to put all the other papers and books in.
Cool. So that's what I want to do. Because I have a +4 craft as a craftsman anyway.
Oh yeah, then you definitely can. It looks pretty.
All right. So I'll carry this unless one of you want to do that.
I think that your hydraulics will be far better than mine.
I have no interest of touching anything but paper.
I can help with anything if you'd really like it to, but you seem far stronger than I.
Yeah, I agree. I also don't think you know how McCann and I work, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
That is very correct.
You you will learn as we all do.
My favorite are the little clockworks that dance around in circles. Those are my favorite.
I can build those, yeah. So we pile everything that we can into the box book bag
Mhm.
thing, minus what Bombardier grabbed, and kind of getting a lay of the land. Does it look like this is any movement that would be through here? Like looking at obviously the entrances that we just climbed down from, does it look like those are actually entrances or exits, or is there foot traffic or anything like that?
So it's kind of hard to see because even with torches, it doesn't illuminate very far. So looking back at the cliff wall, there are none of these tunnels at the base of the cliff. You kind of have to go up about 5 meters till you get to the first one.
Okay.
But yeah, here on the ground, which is pretty smooth, with rocks and pebbles, kind of resting on top of some areas. But yeah.
Okay, so doesn't look like this is an entrance or exit to, um, uh, I don't know, a cave system or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you know where we are, little man?
Are you talking to Chaucer as he looks
Yeah,
at
I wake him up. I'm like, hey, you're not supposed to sleep with a concussion.
Um. So, I don't know. I am the driver.
You should know where you're going, right?
No, we had a navigator, but he fell off.
So the navigator just pointed and said, go over there, and you did it?
He had a map, yeah.
Is there any way we could find the map?
You didn't get a copy of the map?
No, I guess we could climb
Could you
back up and.
sketch it for us? What
Wait.
you remember?
Why would the map be back up there?
Cause
Right.
remember the other people in the expedition? They fell off.
I thought it was just us four. So
Nah.
if there were other people there, just to kind of backtrack and clarify,
Mhm.
would it? Are they saying, "Hey, we're going to camp here," kind of thing? Is that what's going on?
So you guys lost contact with the others just before the carriage started going down the cliffside, which was several meters back up there. So it could be, if they are indeed okay, be several hours before they could find you.
So we were one big caravan, but our cart left.
Mm-hmm.
I got you. And how were we communicating with them? Like, is there like technology in here where there's like remote, or not remote, radio communication?
Yeah, everything
Okay.
was just either
Yelling.
light signals or language.
Got you. Okay, just clarify.
Mhm.
I mean, there's no way we're climbing back up this thing.
Yeah, I agree. Once we come down, there's not really any point.
So,
So does that mean
As a delver, would I be able to tell what direction the next opening to the surface is going to be?
Where the next opening for the tunnels that you guys were on the ledge of?
Yeah.
They're about, the first one's about 5 meters.
Okay. So I'm just gonna like scratch against the wall really quick and then just kind of lean into it. Do I hear like a river or ocean or any like kind of echoey noises happening on the other side?
Yes, indeed. So as you kind of placed your ear, your very sensitive ear upon the cave wall, you kind of hear the crashing of waves.
So it doesn't sound like we're too far away from where we need to go, but I'm gonna turn back to my party and tell them we stay here. No food. I like food. You like food, right? So we should go this way.
works for me? Hey, Walter, do you eat food?
No. But also, did you notice that when she put her face up to the wall, it didn't illuminate? So just want to clarify, she didn't do that earlier.
Ah,
I
yeah.
just wanted to let you know, since you are learning how things work in the world.
I don't know. That might be just some sort of internal magic spark.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how magic works. I just dance.
You were like the hired
Which is its own
entertainment.
form of magic.
Chaucer says, "No, it's not."
So is anyone else good at finding their way? I mean, I would think you would be. Um,
I don't think so.
no.
Yeah, I'm more an entertainer. I stealth around.
So you're good with people.
Yeah,
Okay.
I stab people from behind them.
And
Only
Bombardier. So you were pretty knowledgeable in like understanding that there was like water or whatever. Do you know your way around? Like,
I am a subterranean delver, so I would kind of know
okay.
at least like what's the closest exit almost.
Okay. Because I mean, I'm good at just overall like reading the wild, so to speak. So if you want to help me and I help you, maybe we can find our way out.
We could also try calling. Clearly, somebody put these writings on the wall,
True.
and they probably heard the giant crash.
So
I mean,
you just say we make a loud noise and someone come this way? Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, big man?
so that would have been a pretty loud noise, and I don't recall seeing anything yet.
True.
So you're saying it wasn't loud enough?
I don't know. I feel like maybe they at least were alerted, like, oh, something's going on. If we call out, it echoes a lot in here. Maybe there's someone who comes, lets us know, gives us some pastries or something.
So, do you think they might? Okay. Do you speak any other languages?
I can get along well with people. I'm not sure where the languages are on the character sheet, actually.
There should be a spot on that one that says languages. If it's an actual character sheet at the top right underneath speed, there'll be
No,
dots.
it's a little
Yeah.
bit different. I'll
Okay.
look for it, but I don't think so.
Okay. So, I know Western, which I'm assuming Western is just the normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So I know Western, and I can speak Clockworking, but that's it.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, I can speak Western speak, bark tongue, and green skin.
Okay, good. So we have a little bit of options. So maybe we start with just speaking normally into the cave, announcing ourselves and that we're, not looking to harm anyone. And if we don't get anything from there, we can go through the plethora of our different languages and see if anyone answers.
Like one in each language. Yeah, it's not a bad way if we get some sort of response. So I'm going to call out in my best sing-songy voice. And I'm going to start with just Western speak because it's the most common. And I'm just going to sort of like yole, 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 hee hoo. And then I'm going to like ask if like anyone there who can help us.
Are you guys going up to the edge of one of the tunnels and doing this, or
Wherever the acoustics would be best.
All right, most likely at the edge.
Then yeah, I'm gonna go back up to the first one that we looked at, one of the little like holes in the wall, and I'm gonna yodel down the hole.
All right. So you yodel on down, and you can't really tell if it is an echo, but about 3 minutes go by and there's silence, and then you hear the exact same thing.
Is it like super faint?
No, it's pretty loud.
Oh, but I hear like my voice yodel back at me.
Yeah, it sounds like exactly. It's almost as if you were on the other side yodeling back.
Well, that's cool. You could be like a one-man band.
Ben.
But you'd have to get your audience down here, which is going to cost more.
Yeah, and you'd have to really time it well and like plan ahead how everything was gonna go, so you could like sing your own backup vocals.
Yeah. So could I or someone, would it be like an insight or an awareness to see if there's a pitch or tonal difference? Obviously, the sound will be higher or lower if it's a different vocal, even if it's a mimicry, unless they're really good mimicry.
Yeah, go ahead
Sort of
and
trying to see what those differences.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do an awareness test.
All right, so that would be we'll roll 2 dice. I will hold.
No one
one.
expected yodeling from Penny for a Tail.
Okay, so I rolled 2 dice. I held one back, and the highest I got was an 8, so that would make it a 9.
Okay. Kind of your mechanisms tune into the frequency of this thing, and there is a slight variation to it. It almost feels like an overlay of several of the same intonations wrapped up on top of each other. It's almost the best way you can communicate to your compatriots. It's as if there were multiple Lanas singing this back.
So even if your voice were to carry enough to go that far and back and bounce
Gotta
off,
project from the diaphragm.
yeah, but also bounce off things to change the tone. That's weird, is what I'm saying. That's the easiest way
Yeah.
to put it. That's just weird. I don't like that.
And as he's saying that, I'm just gonna go up to the hole next and start screaming curse words and cavern down the hole. Give it like multiple,
Is it like
Yeah.
shrieking or?
like a loud kind of thing.
I'm gonna cover my ears and I'm like, mine was better.
We have
What-
no idea what
No.
she's saying either.
Yeah. What's weird and maybe a little bit frightening is that the noise seems dampened and there is no echo whatsoever. It's as if the acoustics in this room just suddenly like went all the way to the other side, and
What did I tell you about the diaphragm? You weren't doing it from the diaphragm enough. That's why it's not echoing, because you got to really get that right tone. I am perfect pitch, so don't feel intimidated.
Just offer you a cinnamon stick with chocolate. Just keep...
Chaucer's
I
like,
thank you and happily come along.
shop at the same places I did.
So I want to touch the wall.
All right. What do you touch with?
My hand.
My hand.
Not my, not my
Nothing
face.
happens.
Doesn't light up.
No, it does not.
So
Is
I
this
like
the same spot where we were at before?
no. We only climbed up to that first opening.
Okay.
But so I see the fungus there. It's just not lit up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I touch it. I'm assuming I'm probably more mechanical than humanoid like body parts, but not externally. So I will look at Bombardier. Can you try this? I feel like maybe it's heat related or something.
She's gonna raise an eyebrow at you and then just kind of wiggle over.
Yeah, she's saying he's saying you're hot. So.
This spot,
Yeah, that's fine.
that spot.
Yeah, that one.
What about that spot?
Maybe both at the same time.
Okay, so she puts her hands on the wall and then like eases into it.
All right. As you get closer, it starts to light up, and you see the thing start to.
See,
Wow.
she is powerful.
And we shall worship her as a god.
So as those things light up, how deep is it going? Like, is it like lighting up the entire tunnel, or is it just the
It's
exit
lighting
part
up
of
the entire tunnel.
Do we see
but-
any?
You don't really see the end of it though. It just kind of goes on.
Tunnel might curve or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like the luminescent it lights up, but it's not like bright. It's more like a dull green.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm basically trying to see. Do I see shapes that aren't ours, like shadows? I mean, it
No.
would be illuminated enough.
You
I-
don't at the moment.
I'm gonna just start whistling and start walking down the tunnel.
All right. As you do, you hear that whistle come back at you.
I'm like, see,
same
I'm
way as
good at
before.
this. See, she gets the moss. I get the whistling. Don't worry. I can keep the musical tune for everybody.
You keep your hands on the wall as we're going down.
Nice.
Little arm things.
It's just like
Chaucer, how you doing back there, bud?
I don't like it.
the being broken or the climbing?
All of it. Also the
Okay.
tunnel.
How tall is this tunnel?
It is a 5-foot radius.
Okay.
Yeah. So you guys continue to move on, and the further down you go, the more dense the moss becomes, till the stone is no longer visible, and your feet are just moving through this thick moss. And all of them are just kind of lit up like little stars in the night sky. So it almost has this surreal feeling as you looking around. It's like you're in this tunnel of night sky. As you continue to move forward, the chamber opens up to a circular room with a globe in the center of it, kind of spinning around on a fountain whose water is keeping the stone up. As it moves slowly but surely. The sphere inside looks very much like the geography that you are familiar with. So you see kind of like the mountains in the sphere that you reside upon, as well as the waters, stuff like that. But there are some things that are very different, some land masses that you don't recognize, as well as some descriptions on the sphere that are abnormal. But inside this whole place, just on the floor and on the walls on the top, is this night sky moss. And there looks like there's even some moss in the water itself, which is so clear, it's hard to see. And the ripples seem geometrically perfect. There's no differences. They all just go out in a perfect way. And Lana, as you look at this, since you are a person who is creative, music, it is doing so. The ripples are going out in the same tune, the same timing as the little whistle that you are doing. So yeah, you guys are in this enchanting place. And as you take one more kind of step inside, Chaucer is like, "What is this place?" As the sphere cracks like an egg and starts opening up. And that is where we will end it.
All right.
I peed in the pool.
Man, I hope it's not a bird.
It's gonna be the next character.
Yeah.
Nice. That'd be a
Chuck's
good way to
gonna-
get the new PC in.
Yeah, Chuck's gonna come out of the egg. Like,
Yeah.
hey guys, I've been here the whole
but
time.
we will find out next time. So as a little teaser for the intro for our Age of Past campaign. The other thing that's coming up this week is we are interviewing and doing a one-shot with the designers of The Black Void, which is a Cthulhu-esque fantasy game that came out recently via Kickstarter. So make sure to check us out this Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the interview, and then 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the one-shot. Thank you guys again for a wonderful show. Let's give a round of applause to our cast members. And does anyone have any closing statements?
Sure, I can start. So my name's David South, and if you want to see what I do, go to somniacdelusions.wordpress.com, and you can see all the cool, creepy maps and stuff that I draw, including a scenario that I wrote with Mitchell.
Yeah.
I'll go real quick then. So Corey Carter here. For those of you who like TTRPGs, you may also like LARPing. If you've never heard of LARPing, come check us out. Facebook.com/group/LARPed, LARPED community. We will be at AnimoreCon this weekend. So if you're going to be there, come check us out and say hey.
But just say hey. Nothing else.
Just say hey and then leave.
And walk away. All right, Jasmine.
I was just gonna say the cheesy part. Like, if you haven't already, subscribe to all of our channels because we need more people to hang out with and be wholesome and goofy.
It's
So
lonely out here.
also motivate me to actually finish costumes. This
There you go.
Be a fan of our work, support the creatives, and support Chaucer, because without your donations, your follows, and your love, the broken leg will become sepsis and he'll die.
Nice.
So-
Nice. So we have a minimum number of likes that we need.
Exactly, right?
You know, he's really only here as a supply pack in case of death. We can eat him later.
Yeah, and he gives you the cinnamon sticks.
Plus cat. I can just make a bed out of anything. So.
Nice.
Oh gosh.
I think it will be successful if we can get him out alive. That's how we venture is successful.
I kind of want to feed him to the orb thing.
Just in case.
It sounds like only
go
one
full
of the
cult.
group actually cares if he gets out alive.
Cats, man. All right, everyone, have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.